July 6th, 2019, 5:30 in the evening, Teterboro Airport, New Jersey. A Gulfstream G550 private jet touches down on the tarmac after a 17-hour flight from Paris. Inside, 66-year-old Jeffrey Epstein stretches his legs, expecting the usual routine: customs clearance, a waiting car, perhaps dinner at his $77 million Manhattan townhouse. The cabin door opens. Instead of his driver, 6 FBI agents in tactical vests stand at the base of the stairs. Lead agent Michael Malone holds up a federal arrest warrant. Jeffrey Edward Epstein, you're under arrest for trafficking of minors. For the first time in 3 decades, the billionaire financier, friend to presidents, princes, and Nobel laureates, has nowhere to hide. No army of lawyers, no political connections, no plea deals. His face goes pale. In his safe, agents will find compact discs meticulously labeled with girls' names. In his mansion, a trove of photographs. In his contacts, a web that stretches to the highest corridors of power. But how does a college dropout from Brooklyn become untouchable for 30 years? How does a predator operate in plain sight among the world's elite? And why did the system protect him for so long? January 20th, 1953, Coney Island, Brooklyn. Jeffrey Epstein enters the world in a modest apartment on Seagate. His father, Seymour, works for the Parks Department. His mother, Pauline, is a school aide. Nothing in this working-class Jewish family suggests the predator their son will become. But from the beginning, Jeffrey is different. At Lafayette High School, teachers notice his exceptional mathematical ability. He finishes problems before others understand the questions. He skips 2 grades, graduating at 16. A prodigy, they call him. In 1969, he enrolls at Cooper Union, an elite, tuition-free college for exceptional students. 2 years later, he transfers to NYU's Current Institute of Mathematical Sciences, one of the most prestigious math programs in the country. He never graduates. What happens next becomes his first mystery. In 1974, somehow, 21-year-old Jeffrey Epstein, a college dropout with no teaching certificate, lands a job at Dalton School, one of Manhattan's most exclusive private academies. Tuition, $8,000 a year. Students include children of celebrities, politicians, billionaires. He teaches calculus and physics. He's charming, charismatic. Former students remember him wearing fur coats, gold chains, flashy for a teacher. He shows unusual interest in teenage students, hosting parties at his apartment. The headmaster who hired him? Donald Barr, father of future Attorney General William Barr. A coincidence that will echo decades later. Epstein leaves Dalton in 1976 under unclear circumstances, but he's made connections. One parent is a Bear Stearns executive. Impressed by Epstein's mathematical mind, he offers him a job. Within months, Epstein is working at one of Wall Street's most powerful investment banks. No degree, no credentials, just charm and numbers. By 1981, he makes partner in the options trading division. He's 28 years old, earning millions. Then he's fired. The official reason? An unspecified policy violation. Former colleagues whisper about irregularities, personal loans to clients, boundaries crossed. Bear Stearns scrubs his records. But Jeffrey Epstein doesn't fall, he transforms. In 1982, he launches his own firm, J. Epstein & Co. His business model is unique. He claims to manage money exclusively for billionaires. Entry requirement, $1 billion minimum. The catch? No one can verify his client list. No one sees his returns. His firm has no visible office, no employees, no paper trail. Yet somehow, money flows. Then comes Les Wexner. In 1987, Epstein meets the retail tycoon, founder of The Limited, owner of Victoria's Secret, one of America's wealthiest men, worth $2.5 billion. Their relationship defies explanation. Within months, Wexner grants Epstein sweeping power of attorney, control over his finances, his properties, his foundations. In 1989, Epstein moves into Wexner's 51,000 square foot Manhattan mansion, the largest private residence in the city. 2 years later, Wexner signs it over to him for $0. $0. For a $77 million townhouse. Epstein also receives a Boeing 727 private jet, later nicknamed the Lolita Express. He acquires a 78-acre private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands, Little St. James, which locals will call the Island of Sin, a 10,000-acre ranch in New Mexico, an apartment in Paris, all before age 40, all with no clear source of income. Former friends recall his confession over dinner. "I know where the bodies are buried." What did Jeffrey Epstein really do for his money? That question haunts investigators to this day. But one thing becomes certain: the wealth is not about money. It's about access, about collecting the powerful, about creating a system. And at the center of that system, a pipeline of vulnerable girls. The system is elegant in its depravity. Epstein doesn't hunt alone. He builds infrastructure. The operation begins with recruitment, targets, girls from broken homes, single-parent families, those desperate for money or attention. Age range, 13 to 16. Young enough to manipulate, old enough to travel alone. The initial approach is always legitimate seeming. A job offer, $200 to give a massage, a foot rub for a wealthy man. The first session is clothed, professional. The money is good, more than minimum wage, more than babysitting. Epstein is friendly. He asks about their dreams, college applications, career goals. "I can help you," he says. "I know people." The second session, boundaries shift. More money offered, more expectation. By the third session, the exploitation begins. But here's the mechanism that multiplies his access. After each encounter, he offers a bonus. "Bring me another girl, someone like you. I'll give you $200. Victims become recruiters. Teenagers bring classmates. Friends bring friends. A pyramid scheme of exploitation. One survivor, Courtney Wild, started at 14. She estimates she brought him 70 other girls. The locations are strategic. Palm Beach Mansion, 358 El Brio Way, a pink stucco estate behind high hedges, 14,000 square feet, security cameras covering every angle, not for protection, but for recording. Investigators will later find hidden cameras in bathrooms, bedrooms, hallways, massage tables in nearly every room, baby oil, lotions, a spiral staircase to the master suite where, survivors describe, a mural of a prison scene hangs, Epstein painted in prison stripes, surrounded by police, guards, barbed wire. He hangs it like a trophy, like he knows he's untouchable. Little St. James Island, U.S. Virgin Islands, 72 acres of Caribbean paradise, a main compound, a mysterious temple with golden dome, blue and white stripes, heavy wooden door, locked from the outside. No police jurisdiction, no prying eyes. Girls brought by helicopter. Flight manifests later reveal their names, their ages. The island has a nickname among staff, the Island of Sin. New York townhouse, 9 East 71st Street. 7 stories, 40 rooms, a massive entryway with a custom mural, a tall, dark, handsome man in a suit surrounded by eyeballs, watching. In the study, a life-sized female mannequin hangs from a chandelier, dressed like a crime scene. Visitors include scientists, politicians, academics. Epstein holds dinner parties, intellectual salons. Nobel laureates discuss physics while teenage girls in school uniforms serve drinks. No one asks questions. The schedule. Survivor testimony reveals a disturbing routine. Epstein demands 3 massages daily, 7 a.m., 2 p.m., 7 p.m. His personal assistant schedules them like appointments. Calendars later subpoenaed show back-to-back bookings. Names, ages, contact numbers. The operation requires staff. Ghislaine Maxwell, the recruiter. Daughter of Robert Maxwell, the British media baron who passed away mysteriously in 1991. Socialite, helicopter pilot, Epstein's girlfriend, then his best friend. Survivors describe her as the Madam. She approaches girls at shopping malls, schools, bus stations. She normalizes the exploitation. Jeffrey just likes young girls, she tells them. It's nothing. She trains them, how to dress, how to act, what to expect. She participates in the harm. She photographs victims. The assistants, Sarah Kellen, Nadia Marcinkova, Adriana Ross, Leslie Groff, named in court documents as co-conspirators. They schedule appointments. They answer the door. They say nothing. The Black Book, a small leather-bound contact book, later leaked. 1,971 names, phone numbers, addresses, coded notations. Names include Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Alan Dershowitz, Ehud Barak, countless models, actresses, scientists. Next to some names, a small black circle. Investigators believe it marks those who participated, those who knew, those who could be leveraged. The insurance. In his Manhattan safe, discovered after his arrest, CDS labeled with girls' names, photos of powerful men in compromising situations, documentation stretching back decades. Epstein tells friends openly, "Everyone owes me favors." He's not just a predator, he's a collector of secrets, of leverage, of insurance. For 30 years, the machine runs smoothly. Hundreds of victims, thousands of encounters, all documented, all controlled. And when finally, inevitably, someone talks, the system has a solution for that too. If you're finding this story as disturbing as I did when researching it, hit like and subscribe. Because what happens next reveals how a predator operated in plain sight for decades while the system looked away. The investigation that follows will make you question everything about justice in America. March 2005, Palm Beach, Florida. A mother walks into the Palm Beach Police Department. Her 14-year-old daughter came home with $300 cash. When pressed, the girl breaks down. She'd given a massage to a rich man in a pink mansion. Detective Joseph Carey takes the case. What begins as a single complaint becomes an avalanche. Within months, Carey identifies 36 victims, all underage, all with nearly identical stories. He executes a search warrant on 358 El Brillo Way. Inside, message pads with girls' names, phone numbers, school schedules, photographs, massage tables with DNA evidence. The case is overwhelming. In September 2006, the FBI takes over. Federal investigation, task force assembled, charges prepared, trafficking of minors, conspiracy, organized exploitation. Potential sentence, life in prison. Then the machine activates. Epstein hires the most expensive legal team in American history. Kenneth Starr, former Solicitor General, the man who prosecuted Bill Clinton. Alan Dershowitz, Harvard law professor, constitutional scholar. Jay Lefkowitz, former special envoy, White House insider. Gerald Lefcourt, criminal defense legend. Roy Black, Miami's top litigator. Their strategy? Delay, attack, intimidate. Private investigators follow victims, their families, their boyfriends. Trash is searched, social media monitored. One victim's parents receive anonymous calls. Drop this, or your daughter's past comes out. Attorneys flood prosecutors with motions, character witnesses, expert testimony. They argue the girls were willing participants, gold diggers. Meanwhile, meetings happen. October 2007, a breakfast meeting at the Marriott in West Palm Beach. Epstein's attorneys sit down with Alexander Acosta, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida. What happens in that room remains partially sealed, but the outcome shatters victims. The non-prosecution agreement. June 30th, 2008. Jeffrey Epstein pleads guilty to 2 state charges, solicitation and procuring a minor. His sentence? 18 months in county jail. The federal charges, trafficking, conspiracy, the full weight of crimes against 36 identified minors, vanish, sealed, buried. But the deal contains something unprecedented: immunity. The agreement grants immunity not just to Epstein, but to any potential co-conspirators, named and unnamed, past and future. A blanket protection for everyone in his network. The victims aren't notified. Federal law requires victim consultation before plea deals. It never happens. Even the jail time is a performance. Epstein serves his sentence at the Palm Beach County Stockade, a facility for low-risk offenders. Within weeks, he's granted work release. 6 days a week, 20 hours a day, he's allowed to leave custody. He reports to his own office, the Palm Beach Science Foundation, a storefront registered to his lawyer. He meets with young female assistants. He receives visitors. He conducts business. His chauffeur picks him up each morning. His chef prepares meals. At night, he returns to a private cell. In 13 months, he's free. Total time in actual custody, approximately 4 months. Registered as an offender, yes, but level 1, the lowest classification. He's required to check in once a year, not daily. The machine has won. The aftermath of injustice. Detective Riccari is devastated. He tells colleagues, "The system failed these girls." Victims spiral. Courtney Wild, the girl who recruited 70 others, attempts to take her own life twice. Virginia Roberts Giuffre, trafficked at 16, flees to Australia. Prosecutors transfer her to private practice. Alexander Acosta becomes Dean of Florida International University Law School. In 2017, Donald Trump nominates him for Labor Secretary. During confirmation hearings, senators ask about the Epstein deal. Acosta calls it appropriate given the circumstances. He's confirmed. Meanwhile, Epstein rebuilds. He hosts dinner parties. He funds scientists. He visits Harvard, MIT, the Council on Foreign Relations. He flies on private jets with the same powerful friends. In 2011, after his conviction, he dines with Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Bill Gates at his New York mansion. No one asks questions. No one remembers the 36 girls. But in a small apartment in Florida, one journalist won't forget. Julie K. Brown, Miami Herald. In 2017, she begins investigating. The sealed documents, the secret deal, the pattern of protection. On November 28, 2018, the Herald publishes Perversion of Justice, a 4-part expose detailing the full scope of Epstein's crimes and the system that protected him. This time, the machine can't stop the story. Public outrage builds. Victims find their voices. The FBI reopens the case. And on a July evening in 2019, Jeffrey Epstein steps off his private jet into the handcuffs he escaped for 30 years. August 10th, 2019, 6:30 a.m. Metropolitan Correctional Center, Manhattan. Guards approach Cell 9 South, the special housing unit. High-profile inmates only. El Chapo once occupied the same wing. The door opens. Jeffrey Epstein is found unresponsive, a bedsheet tied to his bunk frame. He had been gone for hours. The official ruling? He took his own life. But the circumstances defy explanation. The timeline of failures. July 23rd, Epstein is found on the floor of his cell, semi-conscious, marks on his neck. Investigation inconclusive, ruled possible self-harm attempt or assault. He's placed on watch, constant monitoring, paper gowns, no sheets, 24-hour observation. July 29th, against protocol, he's removed from watch. His lawyers argue he's not at risk. MCC officials agree. August 9th, his cellmate is transferred. Epstein is left alone, a direct violation of MCC policy for watch removals. The same night, both guards assigned to his unit fall asleep. They later admit to resting their eyes for up to 3 hours. Neither conducts the required 30-minute checks. Security cameras in the hallway malfunction. 2 cameras directly outside his cell capture nothing. Technical issues, officials claim. Footage is unusable. At 6:30 a.m., guards discover the body. The autopsy controversy. New York City medical examiner Barbara Sampson rules the passing self-inflicted. But Epstein's family hires Michael Baden, former NYC chief medical examiner, 60 years experience, consulted on JFK, Martin Luther King Jr., O.J. Simpson. Baden examines the body. He finds evidence inconsistent with self-infliction. 3 fractures in the neck, including the hyoid bone. In self-inflicted cases, hyoid fractures occur in roughly 25% of cases. In homicidal strangulation, they occur in 50% of cases. The fracture pattern, Baden states, is more consistent with homicidal strangulation. He requests more information: the ligature, the knot configuration, the angle of suspension. MCC refuses to provide complete documentation. The questions that remain: why was he removed from watch after a recent attempt? Why was his cellmate transferred the same day? Why did both guards sleep simultaneously? Why did both cameras fail? Who benefits from Jeffrey Epstein's silence? His black book contains nearly 2,000 names. His safe contains CDs of powerful men. His testimony could have implicated presidents, princes, billionaires. Those who pass away tell no tales. The guards plead guilty to falsifying records. They receive no prison time. supervised release, and community service. No one else is charged. Case closed. Epstein is gone. But the machine he built, the people he protected, remain exposed. Ghislaine Maxwell. For 11 months after Epstein's passing, she vanishes. The FBI searches New York, London, Paris. July 2nd, 2020. Agents track her to a 156-acre estate in Bradford, New Hampshire, purchased in cash under an LLC called Granite Reality. She's arrested at 8:30 a.m., charged with trafficking, conspiracy, perjury. December 29th, 2021. After a month-long trial, the jury convicts on 5 of 6 counts. June 28th, 2022. Ghislaine Maxwell is sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. She maintains her innocence. She appeals. She names no co-conspirators. The civil reckoning. By 2023, over 150 victims have come forward through the Epstein Victims Compensation Program. Total payouts exceed $121 million, funded by Epstein's estate. Virginia Giuffre sues Prince Andrew, alleging she was trafficked to him at 17. In February 2022, Andrew settles for an undisclosed sum, estimated at £12 million. He admits no wrongdoing. JP Morgan Chase, Epstein's bank, settles with victims for $290 million. Deutsche Bank settles for $75 million. Both maintained accounts for Epstein years after his 2008 conviction. Les Wexner, Epstein's billionaire benefactor, steps down from L Brands. He claims Epstein misappropriated $46 million. He expresses regret. He faces no charges. The sealed names. Court documents from Maxwell's trial and Giuffre's lawsuits contain 167 sealed names, individuals connected to Epstein's network. Survivors demand release. Lawyers argue privacy. Judges deliberate. In January 2024, a federal judge begins unsealing portions. Some names emerge, others remain hidden. The full list of passengers on the Lolita Express, the contents of the CDs, the identities behind the black circles in the Black Book. Still sealed, still protected. The living survivors. Courtney Wild, who first came forward at 14, is now 37. She advocates for trafficking victims. She still has nightmares. "He stole my childhood," she testified, "but he didn't steal my voice." Jeffrey Epstein didn't operate despite the system. He operated because of it. Prosecutors who buried his case became cabinet secretaries. Banks who laundered his money paid fines as cost of business. Academics who attended his dinners published papers on ethics. The powerful protected the powerful. The vulnerable remained voiceless. What does it mean that a predator hid in plain sight for 30 years? That his crimes were documented, reported, prosecuted, and still he walked free? Perhaps this, that wealth doesn't just buy lawyers. It buys silence, complicity, a version of reality where victims become the accused and predators become philanthropists. Epstein is gone, Maxwell is imprisoned, but the network remains. The sealed documents remain, the questions remain. Who else knew? Who else participated? Who else is protected? The survivors taught us something Epstein never understood, that silence can be broken, that truth outlasts power, that the arc of justice bends slowly, but it bends. The predators aren't always in the shadows. Sometimes they're at the dinner party, in the photograph, on the flight manifest. Sometimes they're shaking hands with presidents. And sometimes, if we look closely enough, we see them for what they are. If you want to understand how power corrupts justice, watch our video on the Panama Papers, because the system that protected Epstein protects thousands of others, and the ending will change how you see the world.